In this video, I'll be demonstrating the MASH application builder in roughly 2 minutes. It might end up going to 3 because it's extremely difficult to demonstrate an integrated development environment in 2 minutes. I'll make it fairly short. The application builder is an integrated development environment that allows you to build and deploy dashboards to a server, which the server can then be accessed by mobile devices. So let's go ahead and start the timer now. So this is the default workspace. The first thing that we want to do is import bundles of components that we can actually do something concrete with. Let's bring in the Android mobile devices, a security panel, some network cameras. We need a server to deploy to. Let's go ahead and bring in a couple of logger components. And lastly, let's bring in a text-to-speech component. Now this import process is slowed down radically by QuickTime screen recording feature. This basically takes about a second per bundle. So we can see the log window's been updated with all of the recent activity. Now after we've done the import, we need to create some components. Let's bring in an Android phone. I can hold down the digit 5 and double click and get 5 network cameras. Let's create a couple of more loggers. Let's throw in a security panel. Let's create a couple more users and a text-to-speech component. Now that I've created components, I would want to configure them. So we can go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and change the name. Okay, the next thing I'd want to do is we want to connect the security panel to our server. And of course, the server doesn't currently have a serial port associated with it. We actually need to create that server. That's a bug. So let's go ahead and create a serial port for this guy. We've got the serial port. Now we need to map that to the CADX security panel. So we've got this wiring step that was done, and we can see that actually in the inspector here. So once we've done configuration and done some wiring, at that point we could do, let's say, we could go into a validation step. We're ready to deploy. And of course we've got all kinds of configuration errors, which we could address merely by, and this is slowed down by QuickTime recording as well. So we can address these validation errors by just double clicking, and it brings you to the property that's missing a value. So once we've filled all of that out, we may decide that we want to actually log some particular events too. We can do that here. This is a manual process. Another means of doing this is actually by doing it through the logging service, where handling events is made much easier through a simple graphical process. And another means of doing this is actually, and this will probably be the future way of doing it, is we can merely do this here. Very simple and straightforward. So I've defined these number of loggers, and let's undo that change. So at this point, again, I could validate and go through a deploy process, and there you go. You've got an application deployed to your server.